How are you?
I'm doing good here in Miami in the hot weather.
Omar, we will just show a little bit of your work on Instagram for the audience at the moment. And
Okay.
right when we have that, then it would be great if you could introduce yourself for the audience and also talk about your style. And then we go deeper into the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything in realism, color, black and gray. I created that 3D X-ray style as well. That's kind of popular on my end. So that's pretty good.
For how long are you tattooing now?
I've been tattooing 17 years.
17 years, and
17
you did like every style of tattooing in your career, so you just like getting evolved with every progress and developed yourself with all the styles.
Yeah, when I started, I'm self-taught, so I learned from the basic lettering, tribal, traditional, all kind of styles, and I went into realism, surrealism, black and gray, and I got good at each style. And being self-taught, that's pretty cool. And then I came up with that 3D X-ray style because I saw graffiti artists, and I got inspired by that, and I started like, let me see if anyone's done it. And nobody was doing it, so I'm like, hey, let me try it. I know a little bit of everything, so let me see if I can do it. And I did my first couple. They weren't as good, and then I did I think it was Morty, and that one went viral. And from there, a lot of people started contacting me for those X-ray tattoos.
How did you come to the point that you wanted to develop that or develop that style?
I saw a graffiti artist that he does it on walls and big murals, and I started looking into like tattoo artists that try to do X-ray, and the only thing I saw was a few handful of artists that did it with the blue and red line outline work, and then there was some guys who just do like kind of graphics, same picture over each other, but no one actually incorporated realism into the piece. And I actually started like testing the waters, and I did my first couple of realistic ones that were pretty cool, and and I'm still evolving, and I'm doing it with different colors now. I'm working with greens and pinks and yellows instead of just red and blues. So it's where your mind can take you, to create something.
Now our audience was able to see the pickle rake. Can we see the pickle rake again? I love pickle rake.
Love it.
That's the good thing with tattooing, right? It's you can get influenced with pop culture and making your own style. And now we see the pickle rake. Can you explain how that style of tattooing works?
It's pretty much it's color changing in reality. You get a blue lens, and then when you put it over the tattoo, it cancels out the reds, makes them darker, and then when you pass the red one, does the same thing. So it cancels out certain colors of the tattoo, and that's what gives you the effect of the skeleton behind, and then without the skeleton, when you cancel out the colors. So it's not really a science. People think it's like special ink, and they're all scared, like, oh, is this ink toxic? I'm like, it's regular tattoo ink. It's just the correct colors to use to create the effect.
You can see it at the moment, but we're looking on the Hannibal Lecter one at the moment, and we can see when the blue is going over it, we can see still this amazing texture in the mask. So how are you able to do that? Because it's kind of hard to explain for us, because with Cassidy Bell's stencils, for example, for him it's like, oh, I'm doing this tattoo, and it's like, yeah, whatever. But for everybody else, it's like you're looking on the stencil, and it's what the fuck's going on here, and to not losing the focus. So how did you came to the point to being able to doing textures with the different color, or are you tattooing with these glasses on, or?
Well, the stencil is pretty hard. When I'm tattooing these tattoos, I actually get a headache by the end of the day. So I got to take like a Tylenol or aspirin just to calm my head down. It is very mind consuming. But yeah, when I'm already like halfway through the tattoo, I put the glasses. It's like a flip up. So I kind of put them like halfway, and I'm looking through the red and blues of the glasses while I'm tattooing to kind of help me fix the texture that I want and all that. You know, I don't recommend it to a new beginner. I've seen copycats trying to do it, and you can tell like they've been tattooing for a year and they just mess up the tattoo and it doesn't look nothing like this effect, you know. So I think experience is a big key in this kind of style as well. I've been doing it for over a year already, and you know, it's already easy. That's why now I started working with the greens and the yellows and the pinks, trying to go off into a different style. But yeah, man, it's hard. It gives you a headache. I give everybody a chance to try it. I don't get mad at it. I seen people try and they just don't even try again.
But could you talk about the first time you did a tattoo like this, like about the design process and the session, and then also about the first feedback when the tattoo came back, that you had the chance to see the customer and to see what you've done, and from then on the progress you made?
The first one I ever tried was that back piece. I don't know. I think you saw it in the Philly show. And that's where I met you at.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I actually tried to do. And when I worked on the lower part of the tattoo, when I finished, I put the glasses on and I saw that it worked. I'm like, okay, this really works. So I was like, this back piece is gonna take me a few sessions to get done. I need to do something smaller. So I had one of my artists that he was there. He's like, hey man, I'll get whatever you want to do. And he's like, man, I love Rick and Morty. So I'm like, all right, let's do the Morty. It was a little small cartoon version. I'm like, that's simple. I'll probably do that in 2 or 3 hours. And I actually did it, put it up on Instagram, and it went viral. It was put on every social media platform. And I was like, okay, this is going viral. I got to do another one. So a lot of my clients, they saw it and they're like, hey, I want one. So I did I think a Virgin Mary, and that was my first realistic kind of style. And that was pretty hard to do, but it was fun, you know, and I kept doing them back and forth. And to all my clients and friends, I was like, come on, let's do one. You know, I want to get out there with this.
And then you started to bring also textures in it, right?
Yeah, I started bringing textures into it and more realistic aspects of the tattoo into it, and portraits. I started doing portraits, and then I started going more kind of color infused. So I started doing like the Hannibal Lecter that was half the 3D X-ray and then black and gray. So I started incorporating that into that style as well, to just mix it up a little bit. I did the newer one. If you're on my Instagram, I have I think it's like one of the third or fourth ones. It's like a statue. It has green and yellow. It's a 3D X-ray as well. And that's one of the first ones I did with the greens and yellows and pinks.
Which machine are you using currently, and which needle configurations?
I'm using, I use a lot of 9 round shaders, 7 shaders, a lot of line work right now with when I get to the small details. But I like using 9 round shaders the most. Pretty much a lot of my tattoos now are just pretty much 9 round shaders. It really gets a nice saturation. The machine I'm using is the Sol Nova, the wired one. I still haven't got the wireless one. I'm still waiting on that one. Can't wait to try that one. But I use the Sol Nova, love it. I've used all your machines for the past almost 10 years already. When I started getting into the professional industry of tattooing, I've been doing it 17 years, but professionally 10 years, when I started going to conventions and really taking it to a professional level. And I had sent my brother, which is my business partner. I was out of town. I'm like, hey, go to the convention and see what's new in the industry, what inks are good, what machines are people using. And he came back like, hey man, there's a machine that doesn't sound like nothing. And I'm like, what's that? He showed me the pamphlet, and it was Cheyenne. And I think that was the first one I got, was the Spirit. And then after that, I got the Thunder. I had the Thunder. I have like 3 Thunders that I used for a while. I actually retired one last year. I retired one that I call it my $1 million machine. It made me $1 million. So So I retired, I put it in a frame, put it away. It's all banged up because it's like all dirty and stuff. But yeah, I've been using your product for over 10 years, man. I love it. You guys are the innovators of the industry for cartridges and rotaries, you know?
We Germans are always too shy to talk about stuff like this, but yeah, we invented the cartridges.
Yes, that's it.
It made life a lot easier. I had 4 or 5 machines just to do one tattoo. And now with just one machine, I could do a bunch of stuff because I just take out 10 needles if I need them. And I just have one machine. So it helps. It's a big difference in a tattooing. It makes your tattoos go faster. And it's awesome.
What would you tell yourself 17 years ago?
Honestly, I would tell myself to do more education, study more artists. The past couple of years, I've done some education. I've paid seminars with like Nico Hurtado. I've done, I think it was a worldwide tattoo conference a few years back when they did it here in the United States. In Chicago, I did that as well. Just continuous education is very important because your mind is capable of doing so much on its own. So it's good to get some other input from other artists and experience to get that technical aspect of a tattoo.
What do you think about people using Photoshop filters about the pictures?
The finished tattoo?
Yes.
Anything overdone is bad. The polarized filter does help taking out the glare off the picture. So that makes a nice picture. It does lift up and raise the contrast a little bit. Sometimes it's good to go back when you're editing the image to cut down the contrast just to make it look more natural. To me, doing the redness is really important because some people do get red. When you tattoo a black and gray piece, they do get that crazy red skin. And sometimes you don't see that client ever come back. So those pictures, sometimes you have to edit them, you know, because I've been doing this for a long time and people are, yeah, I'm going to come back next week or in a month to take a picture. They come back a year later. And thank God I had taken a picture and edited a little bit so at least I could show my work to as close as it's going to look like when it heals by reducing the redness. So it is important to do some editing into the images, but not to the extreme, making it, there's some people I've seen that they make it smooth, that you don't see even the pores of the skin, and you're like, okay, this is too fake, you know, but you know, as long as you edit it to the more natural look, I think that's important.
Omar, thank you so much for your time and
No problem.
for this incredible chat with you.
Yeah. Have a good time. Stay safe, man.
Hope to see you guys soon in a convention or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
We
joining
can't
us.
wait.
We can't wait.
All right.
Take
Okay,
care, buddy.
bye.